I just discovered the true civil war going on, and it's between the physical media boutique labels. Oh my god! Talk about the major conflict and issues the boutique labels are having between themselves, and then we get into a massive rant on why this can be absolutely devastating to the physical media collecting community. And of course, we talk about the future of the boutique labels, which ones will disappear first, and which ones will survive this civil war. So let's get into it. But first, you love collecting physical media just like me, and you want to help physical media thrive in 2025, you are in the right spot, my mega collecting friend. Go ahead and mega blockbust that like and subscribe, and leave in the comments below your favorite boutique label. But let's get into this. So blockbustering into the news here, and we gotta talk about this physical media boutique battle civil war that's happening right now. And I did not know this was going on. I was completely blind to this, but we should have all known this was going to happen. So where am I getting this information from? Well, I'm gonna have to give a shout out to Serial at Midnight for putting on an amazing video with an interview with someone from Kino Lorber I was watching the other day, and oh my gosh, I learned so much about Kino Lorber and just kind of the boutique physical media aspects of the industry. So definitely shout out to him. Check out that video after this one, of course. But it was awesome. But I learned so much insight into, once again, these boutique labels with what is happening right now. Well, right now, more than ever before, there's more boutique labels out there. Yes, tons of new boutique labels have entered the space, and of course, they're battling for these physical media licensing rights, right? That's why you see, hey, a studio or a boutique label in this case will have a certain release, the Blu-ray of a title, but then another boutique label comes in and gets the 4K release of that title, and there's that conflict back and forth. And you see there's really this big competition between these boutique labels to try to license these movies before another one jumps into it so they can distribute, of course, the movie to us collectors. And I just found that super fascinating because, yeah, you see all this competition. Like, for example, Scream Factory did a Critters box set way back when, but then Arrow got a Critters box set overseas. So you just see that competition back and forth in the heat of the night. I have a Kino Lorber 4K, but then Criterion did a 4K. So you see all these different licensing rights, I guess, transfer hands or to different boutique labels. And to me, it's just, oh my gosh, they're really in strong competition with each other now. So where does this go next? I mean, come on. You hear in this interview, basically this person from Kino Lorber talking about, yeah, this is definitely a tough competition time for all these different boutique labels that have entered the space. I mean, you think about it, there's so many boutique labels out there. I mean, come on, you got Kino Lorber, you got Criterion, you got Arrow, you got Scream Factory, you got 88 Films, you got MVD, you got so many, dozens and dozens. I mean, I did a whole boutique label tournament competition live streams, and there was a lot of different boutique labels to get through. So, wow, yes, these boutique labels have to compete for these licensing rights. Once again, they haven't made the movies, they're not the studios themselves, so they have to go to these studios, of course, pay for the licensing fees, and then get these titles to distribute, right? And of course, they do their great work with hopefully some restoration, how they do the transfer scans, maybe adding in some new special features, interviews, all that fun stuff. So, of course, the boutique label does an amazing treatment of them. But once again, there's that competition between them to get these movie rights. And then just to see how quickly they do transfer from boutique label to boutique label, it's just wild out there. Oh my gosh, I had no idea that it was so competitive, but it makes sense. There's a lot of boutique labels, and of course, there's only so many popular titles, I guess, to go around. So all of them are trying to, jump and get those licensing rights when they can to distribute these titles. So it's fascinating that they're really in big competition to each other, but it goes extent farther than that, of course, because what's going to happen with so much competition in the future? Is this going to hurt the physical media collecting industry, or is it going to help the physical media collectors out there? Let's rant on this next. Now to get into a massive rant on why this can absolutely be devastating to the physical media collecting community. And at first, you may say, hey, isn't this a good thing? We get a lot of competition, we get more releases of the physical media, you get more choices and options out there for collecting, and that's all good and well. But I want all these boutique labels to survive, and that's the struggle right there. If they cannot get these titles, they cannot distribute enough and sell enough to actually make a profit. It was even mentioned in the interview that Serial at Midnight did that, hey, how many more years of profit do we have for these titles we're getting for physical media releases? Is that only a few more years? How sustainable is it for these boutique labels out there? Once again, it's not an easy business. You got to pay for the licensing rights. Once again, more competition could increase costs. And then you got to manufacture, distribute, and do all this stuff. It is not cheap out there. So you wonder why boutique label stuff is so darn expensive. Well, a lot goes into it. So I totally understand that. That's why prices are outrageous out there on boutique label items. And yeah, collectors are kind of holding back on their wallets because of that. But once again, not just that. It's not just about the collectors, of course. We got to think about the boutique labels themselves. How long can they sustain that? Once again, how long is it going to be profitable for them to do all of this? Like I said, if it's only profitable for them to do this for the next few years, well, that's no good for us collectors, because then boom, they're going to be gone out of this industry. And then what are we going to have to rely on? These studios, Disney, to get us these titles. Come on, no. We need the boutique labels to be able to get these titles that are, really kind of back catalog that these studios don't really want to release, and to give us good treatments of them. We want to see these movies in the best way possible. And we know boutique labels usually just kind of distribute the best versions of them over the studios. So yes, we need these boutique labels to keep up the great work, and I want them to be sustainable, and I want them to last a long, long time. So once again, why there's so many boutique labels in the mix now, that could definitely put some of them out of business in the next few years, or who knows when. But that could not be good for the physical media collecting industry. If we lose, say, like a Kino Lorber, and it's like, oh my gosh, now how are we gonna, get these movies? Well, maybe another boutique swoops in on it, once again for competition reasons. But I like Kino Lorber. I like the style they do, how they do their uniform kind of slip covers and just the design, and it's so sleek and clean. So I like these different boutique labels and what they bring to the table. I want to see all of them thrive and stay in the collecting industry for a very long time. But with so many competition and so little titles, where do we go next? And when I say so little titles, I know there's tons of movies out there. What I mean so little, as in the most popular titles that are really going to sell and really be big money makers for those labels. Those are far and few and in between. But let's talk about the future of physical media collecting. Where does it go to next with these boutique labels? Now let's talk about the future of these boutique labels. Where does it all go to next? Well, not all these boutique labels can live forever and ever, right? Of course, these companies have exorbitant costs that's going to really damage their profits in the future as these discs get more and more expensive to manufacture. How can their businesses survive? Think about that. How can these businesses keep going if the profits from year to year shrink, as collectors are less likely to pick up these physical media titles? Once again, there's just less and less collectors out there, and collectors that are there in the community right now, we know, are tighter on the wallets. They're being a lot more selective. They're not buying everything that comes out from these boutique labels. How are these boutique labels going to last forever and ever? That is the question. And I want them to all last forever, because I all think these boutique labels have something different and unique to offer, and they cater to a certain collecting audience. I think that's cool, because you can kind of choose your different pathway with collecting through which boutique labels are your favorite. And that is such a special experience. So I want all these boutique labels to survive as businesses for a very long time. But once again, as their profits shrink, costs go up, collectors go away from the market, it only makes sense that not all of them are going to last forever. So in a few years, maybe some of these boutique labels unfortunately go out of business. Now I'm hoping it's not kind of the classic OG ones. Like I want Kino Lorber to stay around. I want Criterion to stick around, Arrow, Scream Factory, and I still like the other labels too. I want to see MVD out there. I want to see Vinegar Syndrome out there. I want to see Synapse out there, Severin out there. Like I want to see these labels out there, even though maybe I don't collect a lot from those other labels. I still want to see them out there because I think it's good for different collectors, of course, different preferences and movies people watch. I think they should all stick around. But once again, like I said, costs are getting cray out there. And once again, from year to year, we see these numbers. We run the numbers weekly. There are less and less collectors in the market. So how can we sustain these boutique labels, especially as we get tighter on our own wallets and are more selective on what we're buying to kind of curate our perfect, shelf collection? It's just going to be more of a struggle for some of these boutiques in the future. So those are just my thoughts right now. Once again, a great interview that Serial at Midnight did. I highly recommend checking out that interview if you haven't already. But once again, I got to hear from you guys in the comments down below. What do you think of this boutique Civil War battle? What boutiques are going to last the next few years? Which ones may go out of business? How do we better support the boutiques? I want to be positive here. How can we keep physical media lasting forever? Let's talk those movie conversations down below. And if you haven't already, go ahead and mega blockbuster that like and subscribe. Turn on that notification bell so you're alerted when a new physical media news topic video posts. Of course, have a great day watching and talking the movies, my friends. And of course, you'll love this physical media topic video. Go ahead and check out the Boutique Battle Live tournament right now. And thank you so much, my mega membership supporters. If you love talking and collecting movies, consider joining the Mega League of Film Fans through memberships to support content creation while gaining access to perks like shoutouts, exclusive videos, and future topic choices.